Monster is not a story about a swordman who cut the head of a dragon. Monster is a story about the meaning of life. In days like this, I am a bit pleased that I am a One Piece YouTuber because while I know almost everybody out there are gonna talk about the obvious, make some lame few Mihawk jokes, some few Shanks, Zoro joke, talk about animation, the music and everything, almost everybody are gonna miss what this story actually told us. I am ashamed to admit that I have never read Monster. I just read some summary of it just to know the gist of it, to understand if there is any information so I can make some shorts about it or something. But I've never actually read this story so I can understand the drama. And I'm actually so happy that I waited. It was a fortunate mistake because now with the help of animation, the story has struck me in the way that it was supposed to do it. I'm so glad that I didn't record my own reaction because I didn't want you to see the moment that the story break me. I guess I want to keep that moment to myself. You can say a lot of things about Ryuma, that he is maybe all monster trio in one person. He is Zoro in a way of sort. He is Luffy, that he shows appreciation for life and food. And he is Sanji for respecting ladies and like a more successful ladies man. But he stood for something that I don't think anybody else in the story of One Piece has stood for. One of the main reasons that I like to identify myself as a Shanks fan is not simply because how strong or weak Shanks is, it's because I saw Shanks doing something that I can't. By the first chapter of One Piece, episode 4, in the anime, we realize Shanks is a person who is significantly strong, but allowed himself to be humbled by people that he could have killed with merely blinking. As this story progressed and went on, we understood how significantly strong Shanks was compared to the first chapter. And the more we realized, on the moment of the first chapter, when some mountain bandit just embarrassed him and he laughed it off, the greatness of that moment was without any rival to me. And true, Luffy and Zoro also showed that moment later on, but first time it was Shanks, so it was really impactful for me. Because at the end of the day, what matter in these stories are not just who is stronger than who or who can do what, it's how they can inspire us to be better human. And the idea of me having a power and don't use it on other people when I totally can was a lesson that I've never learned from any other character, from any other story. And that was very important for me because I knew deep down that I can perhaps never be that person, perhaps never be the person who can smack you down when under pressure, when under embarrassment. And I refuse to do it. Shanks, perhaps the idea of Shanks, helped me to want to be a better person. That is the first reason why I liked him. And now Ryuma didn't teach me anything new, but he reminded me of something that I now, as a young adult or as someone who is approaching his adult year, believe in right now. And the fact that Oda understood this, like I'm 25, perhaps Oda realizes that at his 20. And we share same point of view to the world. That Ryuma is the true representation of humanity. I am amazed by the story only because of the last moment. Before that, it's a good enough story. It's a good enough twist that, okay, we have a fraud Mihawk and somebody who looks like a Buggy and somebody who looks like a Nami and Ryuma, and it's a fun drama, fun action, bad guys, dragon cutting this head. It's all good. It's fine. Animation was superbly great. The music was so good. Characters were likable. All good. Nothing too shocking, nothing too out of this world, but beautiful. But at the final moment, we have a bartender saying, oh, I guess I know who that person is. That's King Ryuma. This is a title given to him by other people. So the odds are he doesn't even know that he is the famous king, the greatest fighter in the world. But if you ask me, that's the man. And this is such an important moment. Let me explain. When we are presented with a timeless question like what is the point of life, all of us have different answer for it. And for the longest time, my own answer was that the meaning of life to me is that I leave a footprint on this world. That when my life is over, when I'm dead, I don't care what's going to happen next. Maybe it's darkness, maybe it's light. I don't know. But I know in this life, I want to be remembered. I want to do something impactful. I like to do something great, and I like that great thing to be appreciated by people, and the more the better. That was the meaning of life to me. But we are now presented with a character, with an idea named Ryuma, and this man doesn't take credit for what he does. This man is a force of nature that really don't do anything to get credit. This story is supposedly few centuries before the end of One Piece, but technically and narratively speaking, this is a glimpse of what will happen by the end of a story. When Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats are just grown-ups, they don't need power-up, they don't need to be challenged by people, they just need to do what they are wanting to do. And the reason they are not strong enough and they are always challenged, they never could have presented us what Ryuma did in this episode. Ryuma was significantly by a galaxy stronger than everybody on that island, on that town. But he wasn't defined by his power. He didn't care that I am so much stronger than you. I am so much better than you. He, in fact, allowed himself to be treated like an underdog. This man doesn't want to change the world. He is a selfish person. And he's like, okay, I didn't bring any trouble to you guys. You guys might blame me for putting the life of everybody in this town at risk. But deep down, I know I am innocent and I'm not going to take responsibility for something too random, which has nothing to do with my action. He is a selfish person. He has no interest of changing the world, and yet he does it more than anybody who dreams to do it. And when everything was done, when he did the impossible, when he earned the respect of the people who belittled him, he didn't stick around to say, hey, I did it. You were wrong about me. I was a strong. You all assume that I am a scum, but who's a scum now? He could have waited for that delicious moment, but he didn't even care for that. He just went to the next journey. At some level, he reminded me of Jing, father of Gon from Hunter x Hunter, which is based from the idea of Buddha and the actual person of Buddha. But I think in a more simple way. Ryuma was a person who lives at moment. He is the personification of the concept of Carpe diem, seizing the moment, seizing the day. He doesn't care about future, he doesn't care about past, and he only lives at the moment. There are only two things that this man actually cares: food and the love and attention of a lady. And take notice that he doesn't even pay to get food. He doesn't follow the order of money, the exchange of goods for receiving food. He is behaving in a more animalistic way. No animal in the planet pays to get food. They just get it or they die. And Ryuma, in fact, is behaving in that manner. All he cares about is food. And when the food challenge is over, for the showing the appreciation of the food she receives, something that Luffy does most often, she stick around to kill a dragon for the sake of a lady. Of course, because he was attracted to that. Again, the second animalistic behavior of human. Love. Mating, if you might say. So in some sense, Ryuma is exactly what Aristotle defined human being. A speaking animal. At some level, the second most important thing in One Piece world is freedom. And I believe right now, at this moment, comparing Luffy to Ryuma, Ryuma is a true representation of true freedom. This man, body, mind, soul, is not bound by any human-made concept. He just follows his own instinct and he doesn't care about human and society rule. And yet, he is the most perfect human that we can find in this story. And among everybody in that place, we admire him the most. And all I'm saying is not some random shit that Oda never assumed, because the opposition of Ryuma is somebody who's deeply bound by all the things that humanity, the worst part of human society, can offer. Everybody gonna point out that the villain of the story kind of dressed like Mihawk, true, but this was a man who deceived, who lied, who take credit for something that he didn't do. He just is a fraud for every moment, and he all care about this concept that is created by humanity, meaning money. So he's exactly the opposition of Ryuma in terms of ideology. Ryuma doesn't care about fame or getting credit. He is all about getting that, in fact, creating fake credit. On the other hand, Ryuma is a free soul who doesn't care about human world belonging, but all this dude care about is gold and wealth and money. This was a decision, a narrative, a structure that a young Oda created for us to show us and tell us the true meaning of a human. Oda is showing us a concept of human that is not bound by the rules of society and the modern world. This is a human from the old era, from the era of cavemen, but he is happier, stronger, and better than the rest of us. Now, I don't believe that any of us can be as free as Ryuma. That's just not gonna happen in the modern society, because we are part of this society, and if we want to be as free as him, we can have. I don't think it's a logical option. Maybe some people can do it, but it's still not gonna be a logical option. That's why watching Monster, watching Ryuma truly broke me, because just like Shanks, that showed me something that perhaps I can never be. Ryuma showed me a type of freedom that perhaps we can never achieve. To just care about love, to just think about freedom, that his biggest problem in life was just eating good food after 5 days of starvation. This is not a glamorous life. This is the simplest, freest, and perhaps most meaningful version of life. That you don't follow any greater good that is created by humanity. You just follow who you are. You just follow the Darwinian evolution, and you just try to survive. And by that, you might be the best person in the room. I don't expect you guys to agree with this point of view, but I'm telling you, this is exactly what Oda is crafting in his story, Monster. And seeing this glory of the character made me immediately love Ryuma to the moon and back. And he's now, with a simple 5 minutes, is one of the best one of the most lovable characters that Oda created in my eyes. And that's why I love Monster. I hope what I said made some sense to you. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, I see you all at Laugh Tale.